Welcome back, folks, to Let's Play Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars. And when last we left off, we were back in Paris after narrowly escaping being killed by Khan in Syria. And now, we've let this priest here, polish up the chalice so that he can better see the inscription, the engraving that's on the chalice itself. We've been told to have a look around, so let's have a look around, shall we?
A priest stood by the pews, energetically polishing something.
That something in this instance is indeed the chalice. Now, something I just noticed while I was, there are these here that I didn't notice before. Let's have a look at them, shall we?
A stone knight lay in full stone armor, blank eyes looking at the ceiling.
There is this statue that we've looked at. There's also this that I didn't look at.
A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. A scholarly knight. That rang a bell. A very Spanish bell.
Let's have a look at it.
Per disciplinum meum lux videbis. A bit of a stained glass window. Wow! Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess.
However, it mentioned light, and I wonder if this fits. It's worth a shot.
The lens fitted into the end of the scroll like a hand into a glove. Hey! A Knight Templar burning at the stake, and a date. Let me see. MCCC-XIV. That's 1314.
Ah, well, do we want to get the lens back? Do we have the lens back? No? Yes?
A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. A scholarly knight.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get the lens back. Well, that indeed was a different picture. And we have a date. So let's talk to the priest. Maybe it is pretty polished now.
Hello again, Father. Hey, thanks.
It is my pleasure, monsieur.
What was the writing on the chalice?
It was not writing, my mistake. It was a coat of arms. The remarkable thing is that it seems very familiar.
Yeah?
Oui, I think I have seen it on that wall tomb in the far corner. That winged horse is quite distinctive.
I think we might have found the location of the missing, relation of the Countess.
Did you know that the center window conceals an image of a man burning at the stake?
The Burning Man?
What, you knew?
That there was a hidden image? No. But the church has a reputation for being haunted. Many times people have claimed to have seen a burning man in the window. But when others they look, there is nothing. Perhaps the light has to be just so for the figure to appear.
Yeah, or maybe you need a special lens.
Well, we did indeed have a special lens.
Boy, what a shine you got on this.
Merci. It is all in the wrist action.
Well, he's pretty good at shining up chalices.
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Let's have a look at that.
It was hard to believe it was the same chalice. Now the light gleamed off its perfect surface.
Let's go and look at that wall tomb in the far corner. We were told it was that one. Let's see if it indeed is, and that is the missing ancestor of the Countess.
No. It couldn't be. Could it?
It probably is.
Now that my attention had been drawn to it, there was no mistake. There was no name on it. But the coat of arms was undeniably the Pegasus of the De Vasconcelos family. I'd found the last resting place of Don Carlos. My eye was drawn to the biblical references carved into the edge of the tomb. Hey, maybe these biblical references mean something. Psalms 32:7, John 4:11, Corinthians 1:4-5, and just one more, Psalms 22:21. I may not be perfect, but I've got a memory like a steel trap. The chalice had led me to these inscriptions, but it looked like a happy coincidence to me. After all, the de Vasconcelos arms were already on the manuscript. Nope, I was still convinced that the chalice had some significance all of its own.
I wonder if, those inscriptions are significant. Maybe the priest knows about them. Could ask, I suppose.
Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
We don't have the option of talking about the, various things.
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
But I know somebody who could help us, and that person is back in the museum. I think he pretty much is always in the museum. I'm sure the Countess will be happy to know about the news concerning the missing ancestor. Maybe she could come visit. In the meantime, we're going to leave before this guy starts to figure out that we might in fact be the person he's looking for. At least I hope we don't want him to figure it out. Let's go to the museum. I think he's pretty much always there. At least I think he's always there. And you never know, maybe the tripod has been returned. That would be nice. It's not back yet.
Pardon me. Oui, monsieur?
There's nothing else really to talk about, except the fact that we can talk about this chalice now.
Does this old cut mean anything to you?
Nothing, monsieur.
Fair enough.
Thanks for your help.
Let's talk to our, scholarly friend here, who can help us with all things old. Hello.
Hi, Andre.
Hello, Georgie. Where have you been? Nicole said you were away.
I just returned from Syria.
Syria? On the trail of the Templars?
It's a long story, but I found the bull's head. It was referred to on the manuscript, remember?
Yes, what is it?
A secret cave built into a high cliff face. In the cave, I discovered a map bearing a phrase in Latin. In occidenta cita est in ora mundi.
The island of Britain.
Lies at the edge of the world, to the west.
Strange. That map seems to contain a series of pointers.
Like I said, it's a treasure map.
Well, we have a few things we can talk about.
You didn't say you knew Nico at college.
Didn't I? Ah, oui. She was an odd little thing back then. Quite an endearing waif, I suppose, but she always looked so miserable.
Well, that's hardly surprising. She was mourning her dad.
I know. She wore nothing but black for 7 years. She was more Goth than Alaric the Visigoth.
And now we shall talk about this chalice.
What do you make of this cup, Andre?
It's a 14th century communion vessel. Spanish, probably.
You sure know your onions.
And now we shall mention this, because this seems to be an important conversation topic.
While I was in Syria, I discovered a strange pagan statue. It was like a head with 3 bearded faces. Horrible.
That sounds as if it could be Baphomet, the idol described by the Templars.
The poor Knights of Christ had an idol that looked like that?
Allegedly. The description of the idol came from the evidence extracted by the Inquisition. Mind you, not one statue or idol was ever found on Templar property. Until now, that is. Just last month, a statue of Baphomet was unearthed right here in Paris.
Where?
At the Institut Hermétique de Naval. The statue is beneath the foundations. It was discovered by some workmen while renovating the building.
Well, that is a turn up for the books.
Can you tell me any more about the statue of Baphomet?
It's a fearful image, even now. A bearded head. The base of the statue is carved with Templar symbols. One of the workmen noticed a curious stain at the base. He claimed it looked like blood.
Blood?
That's right.
We have a location that we can go to, I think.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Well, let's go. Over here, out and beyond, to this location that has been revealed to us. We need to go and look at that statue. So far, I think we are making some pretty good headway in our investigations in Paris, but who knows when we might encounter Khan again, especially considering the fact that we got away from him. There we go. That's the site there. Let's go. Ah, what's there to look at?
The gate was surrounded by some pretty fancy ironwork. I couldn't climb over.
No, you could just go through, but I imagine he's not gonna let you, is he?
The painter didn't seem to regard the painting as too important. Not as important as a cigarette break, anyway.
Well, let's have a conversation with him. Hello.
Excuse me, could you help me?
What is it?
I've got a few questions.
Let's talk about the Templars, clearly.
What does the word Templar suggest to you?
Templar?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Fair enough.
You're doing a fine job.
Merci. I have my professional pride.
I don't think I've ever seen a Gauloise smoked so stylishly.
It's a natural talent.
I'm being sarcastic.
I'm being indifferent.
You're very good at that as well.
Merci. Vive l'indifférence.
Let's talk some more about him being a painter.
So, what are you doing here?
I am having my break.
Yeah, I mean when you finish your break.
When I finish my break, an interesting concept, monsieur.
You'll probably need to think about it.
I could have another cigarette while I consider. Perhaps tomorrow too?
Let's talk some more about this and get to the bottom of the situation.
Okay, let me put things differently. What were you hired to do here?
I was hired to keep the archaeological dig in the basement of this building clear of debris, and to touch up damage to the door frames with my little pot of paint. It's a very responsible job. Unfortunately, I'm not a very responsible person.
Ooh, we can talk about the dig now.
So what do you know about the excavation?
I know they won't let me in to do my job. I would complain to my union, but
You couldn't be bothered to join.
Right. Tell you what, though. I'm surprised at the sort of people interested in this excavation.
Like who?
What's unusual about the visitors to the excavation?
None of them look like archaeologists to me.
Do you know what an archaeologist looks like?
Three-piece suits, crocodile-eyed attaché cases, Rolex oyster.
But no archaeologist dresses like that.
Quite right, monsieur, quite right.
So, who are they?
Who cares as long as they pay me?
Well, let's obviously show you some grease paint.
A greasy tissue. Don't get it too close to my cigarette, monsieur, or there'll be a conflagration.
Fair enough. What about the buzzer?
I was pretty sure the shaken shock had shot its bolt in Syria.
Ah, fair enough.
I have some plaster of Paris.
Amazing.
He's not that impressed.
I've got a sewer key.
I used to work in the sewer.
Oh? What happened?
I had a cigarette break in a pocket of methane. A manhole cover landed on the other side of the Seine and I was sacked.
That would happen.
Has a guy calling himself Merlin been nosing around?
Was he wearing a t-shirt with "My name is Merlin" on it?
I doubt it.
Then how the hell am I supposed to know his name just by looking at him? Huh?
That's a good counter.
Have you seen this man before?
Yes, he asked me a lot of questions, just like you.
Oh, he has been here.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
Yes, it's a communion chalice. I know, you know, I used to be an altar boy.
You?
Yes, me. What's so funny about that?
Nothing.
And finally...
I have a red nose.
Imagine.
Well, that's enough of that.
Be seeing you.
Au revoir, monsieur.
He's probably still going to be here when I'm done. Looking around here.
There was a dumpster full of debris. From the excavation, I guessed.
I bet he's not going to let us look at it closer.
Hey, you! Get away from my dumpster.
Nope. No, he won't. Is there more over here? No?
The gate was surrounded by some pretty fancy ironwork.
I wonder if he'll let us just go in. He might let us just go in. I doubt it, though. No, we can just go in. Ah, there's a guard here. He looks pretty attentive. Very attentive.
There was a closed door with toilet scratched into the cheap veneer.
Ah, fair enough.
There was a telephone on the far wall.
Could be useful.
A guard stood by a door I guessed led to the excavation. He looked pretty pompous. Well, not so much pretty, just pompous.
Alright.
That guard had been put here to guard something. My guess was that the excavation was behind that door.
Right, that's sensible to presume. What's this?
A thermostat was mounted over a radiator. The radiator was pumping out heat as the thermostat was cranked right over to full. No wonder it was warm in here, even with the door open to the chill of fall. The doorway was full of assorted old tea chests, cardboard boxes, and so on. All empty and all uninteresting.
Well, let's have a look anyway.
The doorway led to an old utility closet that had lost its door. There was nothing interesting in there.
Oh, I suppose the only thing we could do now is have a conversation with the guard. Maybe he'll just let us in. I doubt it, though.
Hi? Excuse me?
Oui?
Hello, how are you, sir?
So, what exactly are you doing here?
I'm guarding. You expect to find me shearing sheep?
Take it easy. I just didn't realize you were a guard.
Fair enough.
I'd like to know what you're guarding, please.
That's a secret.
It wouldn't happen to be an archaeological site, would it?
Are you asking me or telling me?
I'm telling you.
Then why ask?
I had a feeling this was no normal hole in the ground.
Yeah, me too.
What do you know about the Knights Templar? There was a long pause during which the guard said nothing. Then he said,
Nothing.
Nothing at all?
Is this a test?
What, like a history pop test?
No, like a test.
Okay, yes, it's a test.
Then I know absolutely nothing about the Templars.
Okay, you are very, very obvious about the fact that you know a fair bit about the Templars.
The guard was being amazingly evasive. It was going to take more than goodwill to get past him. It sure is hot in here.
I have to have the door open to allow the workmen access, so why not? I turn the heat up.
You could wrap up warm.
I have my gloves if it gets cold, but why bother when it's warm anyway?
That's a good point.
Look, a tissue stained with grease paint.
Ah, just what I've always wanted. If you give me that, you can enter through the door.
Really?
Of course not. What would I want with an old tissue?
Be funny if the answer was yes, you could go in with that tissue.
I was going to have to get rid of this thing. It was dead.
Oh, it is in fact dead. Oh.
I got this plaster from Ireland.
Not an exciting souvenir.
No, not really.
This gadget is a sewer key.
So it is.
Okay.
Do you recognize this name?
Merlin. No?
Fair enough.
Have you seen this man before?
Oh,
You have.
no?
I think you have.
Have you seen this man before?
Oh,
You have.
Yeah, you have. You have. You gave that away quite clearly.
I thought better of showing him the chalice. He might be on the conspiracy's payroll, and I didn't want to risk it.
oui? You have...
A sudden urge to sing. Care to join me?
No, no singing in here.
Oh, ruin all the fun.
I've got a red nose.
Oh,
And that's pretty much it.
Talk to you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
We're gonna have to find a way to get past this guard, and that is going to be tricky. We're gonna have to find what looks like a lock on that door, as well as it being guarded. 2 layers of defense. Well, when we come back, folks, we'll try and figure out just how to get past all this defense. So, I'll catch you next time, and I'll see you then. Later.